Alright, chat. Today I'm gonna be watching the the new game theory What is Sans video, and I'm gonna be trying to debunk it. Or just like talking about how it's bad.
Was MatPat right about Sans for years?
Okay, so I haven't watched the Sans' Nest theory, but I'm pretty sure Matt Powell was mostly correct in that, but just not about the wrong things, where he said that Sans' Nest because he didn't know Deltarune was a thing, but now that we know Deltarune is a thing, we can assume that Sans is from Deltarune or a game before Deltarune that hasn't come out. We don't know, but I don't know where this. I haven't watched the video. I don't know where this is going.
Years he was mocked by the community for his infamous Sans' Nest theory.
Also, I just want to say this right now. I'm sorry that that the MatPat video changes volume a bunch. I was trying to get it a good volume. Some points were just so fucking stupid. I needed to turn up the volume to understand what he was saying, and also the video is so loud.
However, with the release of Deltarune Chapter 5, Sans is once again back in the spotlight, and it seems to imply that Matt may have been onto something all those years ago.
I don't think Chapter 5 proves that Sans is Nest, but I'll keep an open mind. I'll see if it is. I'll see if it does.
Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show
Hello,
that has a
slop
lot
theory.
more to say about Deltarune Chapter 5. If you missed our last video, we mostly covered the main route of the game, talking about Chris's father Asgore, his involvement in the old Dark World, how the Dark World is what turned Des into the night, and how that's forecasting the potential fate of Susan, as she too.
Okay, so I watched the last video, and it was it was very bad. It was not that convincing, and they were spouting nonsense throughout it, so that's why I'm reacting to this one, and I'm not convinced about what they said.
Who is beginning to spend a little too much time in the Dark World. However, during
the theory was just that Susie's gonna become corrupted. Pibby
video, I said this.
I'm sorry.
I don't have time to do a deep dive into the weird roots or the connections it has with Sans and Gaster right now. Well, now I do have time for it, and it turns out we may have been more right about Sans than anyone ever suspected.
It was just MatPat back then. You had nothing to do with it.
Just didn't exist to give us the full answer. And it's all
Okay. Yeah, that is basically what everyone has come to the conclusion of. They're just a tiny bit behind.
Because of the alternate route that you can take in Deltarune, which has been dubbed the Snowgrave or Weird route.
I'm also going to be dropping in to leave little comments on things I never talk about. People have started calling it Side B. Like, it was the weird route, it was Snowgrave, and then the name of the route was revealed, and it's Side B. So I don't know why they're still only referring to it as Snowgrave / weird route. It just doesn't make any fucking sense.
This route started all the way back in Chapter 2, where Chris can take their childhood friend Noelle through the city and start pushing them to become more violent towards the monsters. In each subsequent chapter, we've been given the choice to continue this path, continuing to manipulate Noelle and force her to become stronger, leading to a little red dot appearing on the screen that says thank you. We previously theorized that this is Noelle's soul growing, similar to the soul Chris holds within their chest.
Give a round of applause. They called Chris they. It's a tiny bit of character growth. The videos haven't gotten better, but character growth.
Her heart and her will to make decisions that has grown. We believe the goal of this was to make Noelle the second hero of the prophecy instead of Susie, as we see the image of a girl in a robe with a heart that says love finds its way to the girl. Love being levels of violence, a measure used in Undertale. But as I've alluded to...
Okay, there's a good chunk to unpack there. I feel like Noelle probably will be used in some way to subvert the prophecy as the girl, because it's a very vague thing. But also, I'm pretty sure in promotional art or something, the portrait of the girl is specifically Susie. And also in game, you can see that it looks like Susie more than it does Noelle. I don't know about Noelle getting a soul. I don't. Why would Noelle get a human soul for acting a little weird and quirky?
Can you
what?
see the image levels of violence?
This probably will have something to do with something. I don't know.
A measure
whatever.
Used in Undertale. But as I've alluded,
I think that's probably fair, like a fair thing to theorize about. We don't know the full game, but I think that could be something fair.
To
and I haven't seen anyone talking about that. Might be something game theory has figured out.
There, because even though Chapter 5's weird route is super short, Chris and Noelle's actions, as well as Sans' appearance, confirm so much about the foundation of Deltarune, its future chapters, and how Sans ties everything together. All will be revealed as we follow the trail of breadcrumbs that's being left for us loyal theorists. I just hope you don't mind getting a little wet. If you've taken the weird route thus far, at the start of the chapter, instead of Chris waking up early to go to the festival, Chris sleeps in. Having missed the whole festival, Susie takes Chris to meet Noelle.
I haven't played the weird route, but I've heard about it. So I don't know most of the specific interactions.
Noelle wanted to speak with them. Noelle is acting very different here. She talks about how she has changed. Since Des disappeared, she just kind of carried on. But Chris has shown her a new way. The free will that we, the player, have been forcing upon her. Noelle grabs Chris by the hand and says to go somewhere. We, the player, have been forcing upon her. Noelle has shown her a new way. The free will that we, the player, have been forcing upon her. Noelle grabs Chris by the hand and says to go
I think that it's not really giving Noelle free will. I think it's just Chris being able to force Noelle to do things, which isn't really free will. And Noelle says that she needs Chris to do these crazy shit. So,
somewhere
I don't think it's necessarily giving Noelle freedom, but it can be making her more aware that she has control over stuff. I don't know.
One has ever been before. As you near the edge of the lake, you continue to say, proceed. Noelle and Chris walk deeper and deeper. You continue to select proceed, and as it looks like the screen is whiting out, Chris and Noelle slowly drown. Suddenly, screen goes black, and text appears that says, insert chapter 7, side B. And that's it. That's the end of chapter 5. We skipped over the entirety of the chapter and even chapter 6. You don't even get to go to the dark world and hang out with my boy Flowery. But despite the weird route being so short, the limited interactions you do have reveal a lot. In this route, the festival has already ended, but there is one character still standing around waiting for you, Sans. In both routes, when you find him, Sans asks Susie to draw her friends on a punch card. In the normal route, she doesn't specify who she draws, but based on the fact that Noelle is standing right there, it would make sense for Susie to be drawing Noelle in this image alongside herself, Chris, and Ralsei. However, in the weird route,
right here in my recording, I was trying to explain my thought process of what he just said, and basically what I was trying to say is that I'm pretty sure that this interaction is supposed to be very vague, just so that every single route works for it. Like, there's a interaction where Susie says that she writes down Ralsei's name, and then if you don't do a specific interaction earlier in the game, she never says that she writes Ralsei. So I think it's supposed to be vague so that it fits with every ending or every route of the game. But Toby is stupid, and he did a bad job at that. So potentially you can have the misconception that either Noelle or Chris aren't written on the note in the neutral ending. But I'm pretty sure the entire point of this is that it's vague so that it fits the postcard in Undertale. So I'm just gonna skip forward. But
no, if you go to the
but they're gonna claim that it's the weird route, and from the weird route, Sans fucks off. I'm pretty sure that's the theory they're going with. And also, I heard something on Twitter that says that in this video, the guy says that you're forced to sign the postcard in the weird route, but apparently that's not something that you're required to do. So technically, it isn't canon. Like it's not canon in every ending that you write the postcard, but I don't know.
Secret lab in Undertale, you will find a poorly drawn picture of 3 smiling people, and underneath is written the words, "Don't forget." Sans' drawing in Undertale specifically calls out 3 smiling people. So this is implying that the drawn picture from Susie
And also, you can argue a lot of things. I argued that in every ending or every route, there are 3 people drawn. That's one of the things about the game. There's a lot of interpretations of it. So, this could be a red herring thing. It could be just a kerprank. It could be Sans having 3 people in each route. We don't know. But I think that it doesn't matter.
is the same one from Undertale, and that it's specifically the one from the weird route. It's also worth mentioning that this interaction with Sans in the weird route is mandatory, but the one in the normal
right here
route is actually just optional.
I'm pretty sure that you can skip it in the weird route, but I don't know.
Sans is well known as a bit of a multiversal being given his interactions in Undertale, but Sans holding onto this note from the weird route means that this is the canon route of Deltarune.
I don't think that the game is supposed... Like, Toby Fox has said, if there's only one ending, do your choices matter? And then Toby Fox saying that they still do. I'm pretty sure he says that somewhere on, like, the game Q&A or whatever. So, I don't think that he'd make it so that in every ending besides the route where you're evil and fucked up, that it's not canon. I don't think he'd do that.
Not just a fun alternative, but the way it's supposed to go. Noelle choosing violence is how Deltarune ends. But then Sans does something else that's even more interesting. Just before we head to the lake to meet Noelle, he says he's run out of ice cream and instead gives us bread. Just bread. This does not feel like equivalent exchange, my friend. Although we are getting it for free, so maybe I shouldn't question it. Regardless, it feels like a super strange gift until you read the description. A loaf of bread tends to leave crumbs wherever it goes. Sans giving us this bread purposely designed to have us leave a breadcrumb trail. Now, immediately...
Shut the fuck up.
My theorist alarm bells were going off because this is actually an item in Earthbound. You use bread to make breadcrumbs that can teleport the player to the location where the breadcrumbs began, or if that area no longer exists, it sends you out of bounds. Sans' nest confirmed in the big 2026, everybody! Of course, I'm kidding. Well, kind of. Sans isn't really connected to Ness or Earthbound, but it does finally give us an explanation for Sans and where he...
Also, why are the game screenshots so low quality? I can't tell if they're supposed to be low quality or if they applied a filter to it. But it just looks stupid.
Came from. During your dinner date with Sans in Undertale, he says that Frisk must really want to go home and that he knows the feeling, buddo. And during the genocide route, he tells us, look, I gave up trying to go back a long time ago, and getting to the surface doesn't really appeal anymore either. The use of either here is communicating that going back is one option and returning to the surface is another.
I don't know why Game Theory guy worded it like this, but what Sans says is that he can't go back, he's tried, and going to the surface is boring, but Game Theory guy is saying that he has two options, either going back or going to the surface, and that's just not what he said. And it just doesn't make any sense, and there's so many moments where he just says nonsense. I don't know.
Meanwhile, the Snowden shopkeeper talks about how Sans and Papyrus showed up one day and asserted themselves. Combine this with the fact that Sans
talked
can
about
bleed,
this in the
something
last
which characters
video.
in Undertale cannot do, and it becomes very clear that Sans isn't originally from Undertale, but somewhere else.
Maybe somewhere where he can get a sleek new fit.
Wait, what? Who are you?
We all know and you can film it all thanks to our...
What the fuck? One sec, is this a sponsored segment or just a merch
It's
thing?
iconic, but variety is the spice of life, so he could always try a pullover like the new one we're selling over at the Red store.
Why are they selling Poppy Playtime merch that doesn't have the game theory, like anything related to game theory on it? Yeah, it doesn't. What?
At least I can now look or use the sand that sounds
The breadcrumbs
from Undertale.
Instead, it appears he's from Deltarune, and he used the breadcrumbs to escape. Monsters in
What? Wait, what?
Sadly, it doesn't super interested in this really, so I guess you'll have to go away and we should just focus on the fact that Sans isn't actually from Undertale.
Instead, it appears he's from Deltarune, and he used the breadcrumbs to escape.
I'll let him go. I'll let him go
Monsters
off.
in the underground of Undertale don't bleed. Sans is the only one. But you know where monsters do bleed? Deltarune. When you're on the dinner date with Sans...
What's the bread have to do with that? Why do you mention the bread? Is the bread how his magical device works?
And in Undertale, the song that plays is called It's Raining Somewhere Else. However, at
and
the
then
end of
in
Deltarune Chapter 4, the song that
It's
plays is
Raining,
called
The Place Where It Rained,
Where It Rained. Sans' special song...
This is like the Man Country video where it's like Egg Gaster Deltarune Eggman behind the tree entry 17, and it's just saying buzzwords like, okay, how this doesn't relate to like anything. You can just make a video about. I mean, technically, this is trying to say where Sans is from, but they're also trying to incorporate fucking weird route, random bullshit into it. Just say that he has the post. Like, there's no reason to have a game theory about this. It's basically fact with the Deltarune fans, and you're trying to make a video for Deltarune fans. No one else is watching this. The only people watching this are people that, like, know about most of this stuff, or just aren't big enough fans to care. Like, you know what I'm saying.
Ties
Whatever.
directly to the Deltarune location. And we all know how much care and attention Toby Fox puts into the music of these games. And for more
We
evidence,
know.
look no further than the exclusive interaction you can have with Sans.
Also, I'm pretty sure I saw people on Twitter complaining about this. I don't know. I didn't get this scene in Undertale. I never went here.
In Undertale's Dog Casino. By making it look like it snows, Sans says, putting down presents for everyone. Papyrus, the yellow kid, the antlered girl, and her big sis. The yellow kid is Chris with their yellow skin.
Like, from what I heard, that's talking about specifically Undertale stuff, and not Deltarune.
The antlered
whatever.
girl is Noelle, and her big sis
So, someone else can talk about that. I didn't play that in
is
Undertale.
Des. Sans has memories of his time and the people in Deltarune.
But it's already proven that he has, or it's already most likely proven that he's been in the Deltarune world, with his theme being the same, with the song name It's Raining Here, It's Raining Somewhere Else, with the postcard, you know, the machine, but whatever.
And tragically, he can't go back. And the only way to try is by creating determination. Right
What?
after the moment we're given the bread by Sans, we head to meet Noelle, which leads to the whole glitching through the Matrix thing and skipping to chapter 7. But what is actually happening here? It's hard to say for sure. Noelle just says, let's go somewhere no one has gone before. But I do think it's interesting that we have Chris, a human containing our soul, and Noelle, a monster who is also gaining a soul of
I don't think so.
some kind. Now think back to Undertale. There, monsters were sealed in the underground. Only
I think that there's something to do with... Actually, I don't know. I think that the Weird Route has a lot of ties to freedom, and we're free and have one of the reddest sprites in the game. Or have a sprite completely comprised of red, which could imply that we have freedom, and Noelle getting the red dot might mean that she gets freedom or something. I don't know. But I don't know why that means that she needs to get a human soul.
some kind. Now, soul
Did
and
he say
Noelle,
human
a
soul?
monster who is also gaining a soul of some kind. Now, think back.
Monsters already have souls, so you could just say altering the soul instead of that.
To Undertale. There, monsters were sealed in the underground, only able to break the barrier and transcend to the surface if they used the souls of a human and a monster. That is what we're seeing happen now in Deltarune. Both Chris and now Noelle have souls, and so they're...
No, Noelle already had a soul. It's a monster soul. Why are you saying that she got a soul?
determination is helping them to...
You don't need to prove that the monster has a monster soul when we already know that monsters have monster souls. Whatever.
Transcend to an upper plane. Maybe.
And also, what? So he said... I went on a completely unrelated tangent right here. I'm just cutting it out to save time. It was about how the barrier could form a single file line in the underground to leave. And I don't know why I started talking about that. I think my brain was getting deep fried. That was an unrelated I don't know why I said that.
What we're seeing happen now in Deltarune. Both Chris and now Noelle have souls, and so their determination is helping them to transcend to an upper plane. Maybe.
The determination lets them ascend to an upper plane? What are you talking about?
The one we've talked about before, the Angel's Heaven. We're still not...
Seal the Angel's Heaven. It doesn't seem like the Angel's Heaven is a place. It seems like the Angel's Heaven is like a fountain. Because when this fountain's on screen, it says the hero seal away the Angel's Heaven or something. So I don't know why the Angel's Heaven would be a place. Okay, to be fair, I was kind of misremembering this. The line is that the heroes are at the world's edge, then they banish the Angel's Heaven. So the Angel's Heaven could be a place, but based on the visual, it still seems like it's just a fountain.
Not 100% sure what that's about before. The Angel's Heaven. We're still not 100% sure what that is. All we theorized is that we are in some way the angels, the ones controlling these souls. And so wherever...
I'm pretty sure the soul is the angel, because you banish the angel away, which is the soul, and then save the day or whatever. So I think that it's not necessarily us, the player, because when we seal the fountain, we as humans don't get poofed away. So I think that the soul is the angel.
We are is where the control is coming from. It's widely theorized that Deltarune is part of the experiments that we saw WD Gaster performing before the events of Undertale. Gaster, for those of you who... It's part of the experiments that we saw WD Gaster performing before the events of Undertale.
This was another part I couldn't word right, but basically what I was trying to say here is that Gaster... I don't think that Gaster that is in Undertale is the one that made Deltarune, because Deltarune is supposed to be a parallel story to Undertale, not just like a thing inside of Undertale. It's like Undertale happens, Deltarune happens, and they're just doing their own thing. It doesn't seem like Undertale or like Gaster made Deltarune in Undertale. That's kind of what I was trying to say. Is the Deltarune is in Undertale? I don't think so. But whatever.
Gaster, for those of you who don't know, was the royal scientist within the Undertale universe before the
into
events of
his
the game.
own
He does have a
creation.
chance to appear in the game, depending on
Are you
certain
gonna mention he fell
values that you're assigned,
into
but
his
by
own
the time the game
creation?
happens, he has mostly disappeared, appearing to have shattered across time and space. But before that...
Okay.
He was running experiments on determination. The key...
He fell into his own machine.
You're assigned,
and that's
but
why
by the time the game happens, he has mostly disappeared, appearing to have
just say we know that he fell into his own machine and shattered across time and space, because the Gaster follower says that. Literally says he was shattered across time and space. You don't need to say it appears that he did that, because that's basic. That's just what's said.
Space. But before that, he was running experiments on determination, the key driving force behind our character in Undertale.
I'm pretty sure he was doing that.
And the monster's only way.
We don't know. I'm pretty sure we don't know exactly what he was doing. I'm pretty sure Alfie's definitely was running more experiments on determination. I don't know if Gaster did that, but sure.
To break the barrier, leading to the creation of the Goner characters, monsters that have been break the barrier, leading to the creation of the Goner characters, monsters that have been corrupted by determination. In the secret lab, you can.
I don't think no, because you see the characters that become Goners, and they're not Goners, but why would that? What? How? I think he's just saying nonsense here. I don't know what he's
find
saying.
Notes about his experiment.
This part still doesn't make sense to me in editing. Like, the only things that I think are made of determination are the amalgamates, but I don't think that the Goners are amalgamates. So I think he's just dumb. I think that everyone on writing scripts is dumb.
But there's one that's missing. Entry 17. If you hack the game, you
WD
can
Gaster,
access this journal
Delta
entry,
Rune.
which is written in wingdings, hence WD Gaster. But
Also, at this part, he doesn't explain why he mentions that it's wingdings for WD Gaster, because he never explains that the other entries are written by other people, and specifically this one is written by Gaster. So if you don't know the Undertale and Deltarune lore, he doesn't explain it properly enough for you to be paying attention and be like, oh, I get why that's like that. He just says nonsense for people watching this to be like, which I do in this clip. I'm like, but it's like he's going for such a terrible demographic with this video. He's not appealing to anyone.
when translated, it says this: darker, darker, yet darker. The dark. But when
Dude, you got the quote wrong.
translated, it says this:
you said darker, darker, you get darker. Say dark, darker, you get darker.
darker, darker, yet darker.
See, it's all.
The darkness keeps growing, the shadows
Whatever.
cutting deeper. Photon readings negative. This next experiment seems very, very interesting. What do you two think? The noise you hear during the sequence can actually be heard if you use your phone in the dark world in Deltarune. And in the intro sequence for Deltarune, a character speaks to us, and their speech pattern seems very similar to Gaster's. But alongside that, the file is called Goner Maker. Gaster made the Goners, and Gaster's theme plays during this sequence, implying
I don't think it's exactly Gaster's theme, but it's close enough. This is pretty basic stuff,
this
yeah.
is in fact Gaster who is speaking to us at the start of an experiment.
I believe that Gaster was here. Also, I get that Matt Pat probably doesn't want to go into it, but he just the fuck. I get that John game theory. He doesn't want to get into it, but the Gaster making scene isn't in Wingdings, so he never addresses it, even though he says that it's Gaster. It's not in Wingdings, because if it was in Wingdings, you just couldn't understand shit and didn't know what you were doing. So I think it's a small point, but when you're making a theory for the uninformed people, why don't you mention this stuff?
This is too dark, darker yet darker.
How am I only 11 minutes in? Holy shit. It feels like I've been going on forever.
The shadows cutting, like how Chris opens the dark fountains with a nut.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that this is supposed to be about dark worlds. I'm pretty sure that's what people have said. That's what it reads as.
And the references to this particular determination experiment being interesting has led the community to believe that this experiment from Entry 17 is the Deltarune that we have been playing. Gaster and
I don't... Okay, I feel like, for me at least, it's not Deltarune that he made there. I think that that's supposed to be about the Dark Worlds. Toby knew he was gonna... Toby knew about the idea of Dark Worlds when he made Undertale, so I think that was supposed to be about the Dark Worlds. And if it is Deltarune that he made there, why would Sans be in there?
The tail off.
In that, how would Sans be in Undertale, originate from Deltarune, come back to Undertale, and then, I don't know. Thinking about it for more than 2 seconds makes it confusing. Dude, just rewatching this video, it's so stupid. The logic doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, if you think about it for more than 2 seconds. I'm sorry. Like, this is the turning point of the video, where he loses any semblance of logic. He just loses his mind.
Where these experiments take place, the world of Deltarune. And so, if Noelle and these Gaster and Undertale are the higher plane of existence above where these experiments take place, the world of Deltarune. And so, if Noelle and Chris are transcending thanks to them having the souls of a human and a monster, there's a good chance they end up in Undertale in chapters.
Dude. The fucking Undertale theory sucks so much ass. I hate this theory so much. I don't think Toby would do this. Why would us falling into the lake take us to Undertale? I get, oh, you fall down. Why is it like that? And also, the fucking people would be annoyed if we just needed to play Undertale. It's Undertale's parallel story. It's not you get to play Undertale in Deltarune. I think this fucking Undertale is under Deltarune. And also, if the characters from Deltarune, like, they fall into the lake, you know, presumably what's going to happen in chapter 7 with the teaser image of all the other chapters way below it is there. Us going into the lake, falling down the dark underground, whatever the fuck. It sounds like I'm saying random bullshit, but from what we know, we're gonna like Chris and Susie, Chris and Noelle are gonna fall down into some place below, and how if Deltarune, like, presumably what I think is the canon is that Deltarune is a game, and like the survey program or whatever the fuck is Gaster's making, presumably, and he just typed a bunch of shit, and the weird route is us breaking out of it. I don't know where we're going, but it doesn't make any fucking sense that somehow Gaster has, like, his fucking laptop, and then Chris and Noelle just plop out of it while he's just watching there, like, honk.
7, leaving behind a breadcrumb trail for
Why are you...
They end up in Undertale in chapter 7, leaving behind a breadcrumb trail for Sans to follow, taking him to the world.
Are you able to drop the bread? If you can drop the bread, this proves that he's stupid.
Of Undertale before the events of that game.
Wait, what?
In Undertale in chapter 7, leaving behind a breadcrumb trail for Sans to follow, taking him to the world of Undertale before the events of that game. Or at least, that's where I was going to leave this episode. I figured it was...
You were gonna end it there? That's the worst fucking way to end a theory of all time. What if we got hungry and ate the bread? What if fucking the bread, we lose track of the bread? What happens if why would the breadcrumb trail fucking, why does Sans teleport to Undertale if he's aware of it all, it doesn't make
It's a
any
pretty
sense.
solid endpoint before the next chapter. Chris
It's not a solid endpoint.
Noel are heading to Undertale and Sans was originally It's a pretty solid endpoint before the next chapter. Chris and Noel are heading to Undertale and Sans was originally from Deltarune. The weird
I need to clip this. I need to clip this.
route is showing us that Matt was actually on the right track with his original Sans' Nest theory. Deltarune just didn't exist at the time, so he did the only logical thing and connected it to the other franchise that Toby Fox took a lot of inspiration from. But the more I looked into Sans, the more I realized that yes, he's from somewhere that isn't Undertale. We all agree on that.
And
But
he's
it's
also
not
not from Deltarune.
either.
Yep,
You
knew
see,
he
when
was
you
gonna
first
say
meet
that.
Sans in Deltarune, he says that he's new in town. Now, we know that Sans is a very good liar. In Undertale, he consistently uses jokes and casualness as a front for him knowing more than he lets on. So, him claiming to be new in town could very well just be him lying. But Susie actually confirms this part of his story, saying,
Why would he be lying? Why do we need to confirm that he wasn't lying? I feel like it was pretty obvious. And also, maybe Toriel says that Sans is new here. I don't know.
that the house itself is also new and not being able to remember what came before. And when you look at the house, something else stands out about it. It's identical to his house in
Yeah.
Undertale. While we've seen plenty of characters repeat from Undertale to Deltarune,
Sans is an exact copy.
they've always had distinct differences, like their
Sans is
personality,
an
visual
exact
differences, and
copy.
things like their houses. But Sans
He's
isn't
an
different
exact
or
copy.
even similar. It's the exact
He's an
same
exact
house.
copy. I
Almost
knew he was
like
gonna
much
say
like we're
that.
told in Undertale, he just showed up one day and
Yeah.
asserted himself into the world, transporting the house along with him, because
Yeah.
even the house is considered to be new.
Like, why are all of his Deltarune screenshots so low quality? The chapter, it's not like a Marvel movie where you need to take clips from theater cameras. It's a fucking video game you can open right now and get high quality footage of.
Just like Sans. In that first conversation with Sans about him being new, he also does another one of his classic Sansisms, where he says, considering we've never met before, and then winks. This is a classic sign that Sans is lying, knowing more than what he's saying. In chapter 4, he also actively stops Toriel from going to look for Chris and Susie, telling her that they're just fine. And in chapter 5, when he refused to give you ice cream, if you look really carefully, there is an ice cream there. A suspiciously
If you look closely, there is an ice cream there.
If you look really carefully, there is an ice cream there.
He's just holding it. He's not hiding it or anything.
Suspiciously Gaster blaster shaped ice cream.
Oh, what? Sure. It doesn't look exactly like a Gaster blaster, but it's white.
Does know us. Not because he's from here.
What? How's that proof that he knows us? The Gaster blaster ice cream proves that he's from Undertale. That's a crazy new
But
theory.
because he's been part
that
of Gaster's
Deltarune.
team.
Or wait, what?
Ice cream there. A suspiciously Gaster blaster shaped ice cream. He does know us. Not
Okay. The Gaster blaster ice cream is to prove that he knows us. It's obvious that Toby read him, knowing that we know him and he knows us.
Not because he's from here, but because he's been part of Gaster's team since before the existence of Deltarune.
Also, Gaster's presumably related to Sans and Papyrus, so of course they'd
We've
know
theorized
him.
before that Sans is actually a scientist working for Gaster. His signature weapon is a Gaster blaster, so duh. But Sans
What?
also is
What?
working for the existence of Deltarune. We've theorized before that Sans is actually a scientist working for Gaster. His signature weapon is a Gaster blaster, so duh. But
What? 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 Sans is a scientist, and that's proven by him having Gaster blasters. That proves that he had a relation to Gaster, not that he had not that he's a fucking scientist.
scientist working for Gaster. His signature weapon is a Gaster blaster, so duh. But
And also, in that one paper that showed Papyrus or whatever, it said Papyrus has a brother named Sans and a blank named blank. that proves that Gaster is somewhat related to them in some way. We don't know if it's father, uncle, grunkle, and a grunkle named Gaster. We don't know if any of that's written, or we know about all of that. So why is Sans a scientist?
Working for Gaster. His signature weapon is a Gaster
like,
blaster, so duh. But
so duh. Shut the
Sans
fuck up.
also has an interest in science. He has a history with the current royal scientist Alphys. A bunch of entries in the secret lab are also written in entirely lowercase, which is how Sans speaks in the game. When Gaster
He speaks in Comic Sans, but okay.
says, "What do you two think?" in entry 17, he's referring to Alphys and Sans. So,
maybe. I was thinking more like he was talking to Sans and Papyrus, but, you know,
I'm
fair.
proposing that the reason...
Fair. You can have that one, but I still think you're fucking stupid for saying that Sans having a Gaster blaster proves that he's a friend of Gaster.
Sans knows so much about Deltarune in Undertale, and why he's present in this game is not because he's a local, but because he used his space manipulation powers to transplant himself and his home
his machine
inside the experiment. In Sans' home in Undertale, we see a broken machine, and
Why are you saying it's his powers if it's the machine?
Folks seem to imply that they
he can teleport.
I believe that this machine is likely what Sans used to transport himself and his home between the world of Undertale and Deltarune, only for it to break after the final events of Deltarune upon his final return. Only for it to break after the final events of Deltarune upon his final return. Deltarune is Gaster's experiment to see if determination can be formed, if they can choose their own destiny. If he's going to succeed, he needs to make
What?
If Deltarune is Gaster's experiment to see if determination can be formed, if they can choose their own destiny. If
I spent like 3 minutes trying to quantify what he was saying here, what John Game Theory was saying here, and I just couldn't do it. So here is the one clip from the Yap that I'll show you. I mean, he isn't a good scientist. He fell into his own fucking creation. He's a moron.
If he's going to succeed, he needs to make sure that Chris, or more importantly, we, stay on track. Sans gives Chris the bread to form a trail of crumbs.
What? If we stay on track and it's us going to the weird route, okay. And breaking the prophecy.
So that they can
and not doing the prophecy the way it's intended, okay.
Track what's about to happen within the experiment. Right after that, the human and the monster's souls transcend.
Also, Sans would know. He'd know if the weird route started. Because, you know, Chris is in the room all day. Chris is in their room, doesn't want to get up, comes outside at nearing nighttime. So why does the breadcrumbs make Sans know that the weird route started? I don't.
Within the experiment.
Like,
right
what?
After that, the human and the monster's souls transcend. A true showing of determination, and that is what Gaster has.
I'm just gonna cut him off here. He is not saying anything logical. Like, the last parts have just been me mumbling about whatever I can think of. I don't know what he's talking about at all. They're gonna do one last show of determination by leaving the underground. They didn't break the barrier, they just left. They just left, and that's his great show of determination. Like, there's no motive, he says, for why they go to Undertale. The only thing he can think of is, oh, the breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs, you must follow the breadcrumbs. It's so dumb, I don't even know how they released this. I'm sorry that my commentary is absolutely nothing. It's because the video is nothing. There's nothing to criticize because like, I can't just grapple onto one thing because he keeps saying 20 things that don't make any sense.
Been after. This is the turning point for the experiment, and if it works like in Earthbound, these breadcrumbs will allow Sans and Gaster to keep returning to this moment again and again to repeat the experiment as much as they need to.
What?
It's no secret that Sans hates humans. He says so a few times, going as far as to say to Frisk that if he hadn't promised Toriel to protect humans, you'd be dead where you stand. Of course, the hatred of humans is expected in the world of Undertale. The humans banished them to the underground. There's gonna be some emotions that go with that. But in Deltarune, Sans is nice to Chris, a human. He even tells us to take it easy. So something between then and now changes his outlook on humans. And it's the weird route. The weird route is full of violence, much like the genocide route where he revealed his hatred for us. Sans is seeing firsthand the destruction we are causing through Chris. All the monsters we destroy with no violence, much like the genocide route where he revealed his hatred for us.
The dinner scene happens in the normal route, or I think in the pacifist, true pacifist. I don't know. I never did the dinner scene, but he's saying that. What's he saying? He's saying that with the fucking in the genocide route, he proves that he hates humans. He says that he wants you dead in the normal route, so why is he saying that this is when he reveals it?
Sans is seeing firsthand the destruction we are causing through Chris. All the monsters we destroy with no care, and that is going to lead to Sans' hatred of humans, or more specifically...
But if Sans knows about the weird route, why is he getting mad at humans after it? All this stuff doesn't make sense if you try and say that Sans is from Undertale. If Sans was Gaster's right-hand man before Deltarune, if Gaster found Deltarune with Sans, or if I'm wording this wrong. If Gaster made Deltarune with Sans, and Sans is one of the two people, and then Sans goes to Deltarune, and then he gets his hatred for humans from the weird route, which he knows about, that would mean that he should already hate humans.
Humans with soul and determination.
Because he'd know that... What the fuck is that new pause animation? Why did YouTube do that? Because he knows that people will do the genocide route, because he knows that people will do the weird route, because he's there to make sure we don't do the weird route, and if we do the weird route, he gives us the bread, which has the breadcrumbs, which lets him follow us, which means that he knows about the weird route, knows that people are bad, and then that his perspective wouldn't change, is what I'm saying.
Because, given the choice, they will always choose violence. Fun fact, in the Undertale soundtrack, there's a song called The Song That Might Play When You Fight Sans. It never shows up. There is zero chance of it showing up when you play the game or when you fight Sans. But if It's Raining Somewhere Else was foreshadowing Deltarune, maybe this song is doing the same thing. Maybe in
I think this is a fair idea that this song could play when fighting Sans and Deltarune, but it's too happy for the tone that chapters 6 and 7 are gonna be. Like, it's a fun, happy, groovy song, but Toby says that they're gonna be locked in and story heavy and emotional. So maybe Toby would use it. I just don't think he will, because it doesn't fit the vibe.
Chapter 7 Side B, we are going to end up fighting Sans, who, despite being there to keep things on track, doesn't want to see us all go down this road. He doesn't like seeing where determination leads, and if it's successful, Gaster would put the whole of Undertale on the same path. During the fight, his machine will likely be damaged, only offering him one more trip to Undertale before it's broken for good. That is why Sans writes "Don't forget" on the punch card, so he can always...
I'm pretty sure Susie writes "Don't forget" in Sans tells Susie to write that.
Always remember the route that Chris took and what they did, how they revealed the true nature of determination. Sadly, that means we're still none the wiser as to where Sans was originally from. My bad, I know that's what I sold this whole episode on, but I do think
that
what we
is
found
what
today
you
is
did.
really interesting. And wherever he is from...
As I said a little while ago, your entire point is that Sans isn't from Deltarune. And you spent like 5 minutes trying to prove that, and your entire theory then devolved into that Undertale is chapter 7. He said you failed at making your video.
He doesn't see any way of going back, and whatever happened there, it led him to just appear in Undertale one day. Maybe wherever it was also destroyed by that same determination. And now he's begun studying, working with people like Gaster. There, it led him, and wherever he is from, he doesn't see any way of going back, and whatever happened there, it led him to just appear in Undertale one day. Maybe wherever it was also destroyed by that same determination. And now he's begun studying, working with people like Gaster to make sure it doesn't destroy anything else ever again. Matt, or maybe Matt was right, and he is just...
Well, he's dumb.
But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory! Thanks for watching.
World premiere on Game Theory.
Deltarune Chapter 5 has more lore than people realise.
What? What?
Just a theory. A game theory! Thanks for watching.
World premiere on Game Theory.
Deltarune Chapter 5...
Well, that video sucked. This sucked complete ass. The theory... You didn't prove your theory. Your theory is that, like...
The spotlight, and it seems to imply that Matt may have been onto something all those years ago.
Yeah. Dude, Matt might be onto something from all those years ago. Yeah. He was. You spent 2 seconds saying, yeah, I think so. And then you ended the video. I am just so surprised that, like, at the end of the video, it's just nonsense. I'm pretty sure the night theory is the exact same thing, where at the start, like, the first half, you can see on my timeline right now, I made so many more cuts in the first half than I did in the second, because there's more to talk about with the first half, because it has parts that are like, oh, this is stupid, this makes sense, this doesn't, this does, but then after a certain point, he just loses the plot. It just, like, specifically around this point. Undertale theory is the catalyst for why this theory sucks. It's why every theory sucks. Besides Death Knight, Amalgamite. Like... You said that Mad Pat was right about Sans not being from Undertale, and then you said the weird route, and then you said Undertale theory, and then you said fucking whatever else, spitballing random shit. It's so bad. It just sucks. It really does. Well, that's my reaction in a commentary. This video is probably going to be copyrighted. I don't give a fuck. I probably should have, like, fast-forwarded through long segments of Matt just talking. I'm not a good editor. I don't want to do all that. A lot of this was just me splicing me talking together randomly. Like just shortening talking segments or whatever. I hope you enjoyed listening to it for 50 minutes. Well, bye. Watch the Team Cosmic Cube trailer. Alright, adios. Have a good one. Mwah, mwah, mwah.